nobles here at the BBT, Solomon, Abir Bey, and so we're just gonna take a few minutes just to kind of just to breathe. Nothing major.
Your volume went out.
It's good. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yep.
Islam. Can you hear? Islam. Islam. How you doing in Oklahoma?
Doing good.
Good. Thank you again. We're alive on all of our platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Here from the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. You can join us every Saturday and Sunday. We're here live. We believe in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We don't have anything magical to offer you other than love, brotherhood, and accountability, and learning the science together. So without further ado, if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of go ahead and get started.
And get our prayer.
We're going to first start with our Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Aleichem, Ayash Ayah. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. There's one more piece that I need to do so that everybody can actually, there we go. I think that should work now. And we should be able to see, there we go. Okay. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Islam.
Live out there.
Islam.
We are going to be coming from today, the chapter 15 of the Moorish Holy Quran. The chapter's title is The Divine Ministry of Jesus, Yahshua. Yahshua goes to the wilderness for self-examination, where he remains 40 days, is subjected to 3 temptations. He overcomes, returns to the camps of John, and begins teaching.
Islam.
So if you got a Quran, please grab it
Islam.
as we get ready to go.
Islam.
I got mine right here.
Islam. Okay, so as I begin to read, chapter 1, verse 1, the Harbinger paved the way. The Logos had been introduced to men as love made manifest, and he must now begin his divine ministry. And he went forth into the wilderness to be alone with Allah, that he might look into his inner heart and know his strength and worthiness.
Islam.
So I just want to take a moment real quick, because there was a few verses in the Bible that were inspired, as well as some writings of Sheikh Goodman Bey that were kind of inspiring to this. So as I go through this, I will reference a few of those pieces of literature to kind of bring that in. Specifically, I want to reference the passage from the Sufism and the Triple Rows of the Adept Chamber that was divinely prepared by Sheikh Goodman Bey. He specifically states, Moors are to give the cares of the world to Allah, and he will take care of those things which will continue to keep us wandering in the unknown. We keep running into words like submission, praise, meditation, prayer, worship, and remembrance. These are the tenets of saving power that man utilizes. The self-examination is constant because man, in his lower self, is eternally a beast in the wilderness. And I bring that to your attention because as we started here, in the first few sentences, second verse specifically, and he went forth into the wilderness to be alone with Allah.
Mm.
And so I want to remind you, part of what we're here to do is to go within, to find, to face your Goliath, which is that person on the end. You are David fighting yourself. And so I continue on to verse 3 in the chapter 15. And with himself he talked, he said, my lower self is strong. By many ties I am bound down to conquer life.
Mm.
Have I the strength to overcome and give my life a willing sacrifice for men?
Mm.
And so, that particular verse right there, and I'll read it again, because I think this is part of where, at least my inspiration, as I was reading this particular verse, this is kind of what led me to the Bible in Philippians 11:12. So I'll read that part again. Have I the strength to overcome and give my life a willing sacrifice for men?
Mm.
Okay. And so, if you give me a moment.
And Lamont, you remember in the Bible it said, I'm the son of man?
Islam.
Mm.
And so I want to take the readers here to Philippians 1st chapter, verse 11 through 13, real quick.
Okay.
Because again, this was the inspiration for kind of what spoke to me. And it's specifically verse 12, but I will read 11 through 13 just to give kind of more of a fuller concept.
Islam.
Filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Yahshua Christ to the glory, to the praise of Yahweh. Verse 12. Now I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that what has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel.
Mm. Mm.
As a result, it has become clear throughout the whole place, throughout the whole palace guard, and to everyone that I am in chains for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically why, just to kind of, I want to break down a couple of the words within, verse 12. And again, I want to specifically read verse 12 again. It said, and this is in the King James Version. I'm sure that there are various, versions that are out there. Which version am I reading from, actually? Just to make sure I'm got it. I think I was reading from the NIV, so I'll read from the New King James, just in case it makes it more familiar for anybody. But I want you to know, brethren, that the things which happened to me have actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel.
Mm.
And so my question became, are we willing to sacrifice for something that's greater? Are we willing to go to jail? And I don't mean down at the county jail. That's what I mean. I'm talking about social jail.
Exactly.
Are you willing to live differently? Are you willing to be different? Are you willing to be an example for the science, for the love of family, for the love of others, for the accountability that comes with being accountable to something other than what makes you feel good every day?
Islam.
And I think that was certainly something that that spoke to my heart. And so I want to read. There's a couple words within that passage, because again, depending on which version that you read from, the King James Version reads from gospel, which is the gospel, and I just want to go over that definition. The proclamation of the redemption preached by Yahshua and the apostles, which is the central context of Christian revelation. Okay, a similar narrative, right? So again, going back to Philippians chapter 1, verse 12, but I want you to know, brethren, that the things which have happened to me have actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel. So the things that happen to us on this path of living righteously, on this path of doing right, on this path of being accountable, on this path of being noble. Are you okay with understanding that the things that happen to you are part of the sacrifice that goes to further this gospel? And it's not a punishment, but it's actually something that shows others as an example. Hey, you can do it too. Because I did it. You can do it too.
Islam, no.
I continue back in chapter 15 of the Most Holy Quran. I will pick up in verse 5. When I shall stand before the face of men, and they demand a proof of my messiahship, what will I say? And then the tempter came and said, if you be the son of Allah, command those stones to turn to bread. And Jesus said, who is it that demands a test? Is it no sign that one is the son of Allah because he does a miracle? The devil can do miracles. Did not the Gentile magicians do great things before the Pharaoh? I think the key part in that passage right there is when Jesus asked, Joshua asked, who is it that demands a test? I think oftentimes, and I can speak to myself, at times I've assumed that, I was smarter than other people, or I've assumed that I knew something. And so I assumed that because I knew something, that I had this desire, or I had this impetus to teach it to somebody, or to help other people learn, or to correct them in some kind of particular way. But that frame of mind, I think, in a lot of sense, really is your own ego speaking to you, making you think that because you read a book, that means that now you need to be out there prophesizing to everybody and teaching everybody.
Come on, Noble.
And correcting their behavior. That's only the ego that makes it assume that everybody is challenging the things that you're saying, or everybody is challenging what it is that you know. So as Joshua says, who is it that demands a test? Is it no sign that one is the son of Allah because he does a miracle? The devil can do mighty things. Again, you can use energy for good and for evil. What kind of example, as Sheikh always said, what does your life look like? What type of example are you setting on an everyday basis? Can the tenets of what you speak about be seen in how you go about your daily activities? If not, well, maybe we got to pause for a second.
Islam.
Don't make us a bad person, but it definitely make us off course a little bit. We might have to step back so we can get back on course.
Islam.
I continue in verse 9 of chapter 15 of the Most Holy Quran. My words and deeds in all the walks of life shall be proof of my messiahship. And then the tempter said, if you will go into Jerusalem and from the temple pinnacle cast down yourself to earth, the people will believe you are the Messiah sent from Allah. Verse 11. This you can surely do, for did not David say, he gives his angels charge concerning you, and with the hands will they uphold lest you fall. I want to draw your attention quickly to a particular word in there, angels. And I think really that whole verse concerning, and I'll read it again, just because there's a few different aspects. So he says, this you can surely do, for did not David say, and I quote, he gives his angels charge concerning you. He gives you a reason to go out there and do something. a reason to go out there and live life and to be an example, because we have so much to be thankful for, as She Goodman Bay always says. That's every reason you have, every reason you need. He gives His angels. Again, what is an angel? We know this from our 101s. Angel is a thought of Allah, clothed in flesh, a prophet. So again, as She Goodman Bay is an angel to us, we are angels to others.
Islam.
And as the verse goes on to say, and with their hands they will uphold you, lest you fail. Meaning, if you keep up your end of the bargain, remain honorable, remain diligent in your studies, remain committed to self, remain committed to doing what's right, remain committed to being accountable. That support system, that spiritual support system you have, it ain't gonna fail you.
Islam.
It's gonna be right there with you. The only thing that's gonna fail is you giving up on your portion. My uncle has a saying. He's like, when you give up on you, I do too. Like, I ain't got no.
Put it on a shirt.
Fighting for you. Like, if you ain't fighting for you, well, I mean, you already know what I'm doing.
Yep.
You know? And so, again, we've got to hold our end of the bargain up. I'll continue on to verse 12. And Jesus said, I will not tempt the Lord, my God, Allah. And the tempter said, look forth upon the world. Behold its honor, its fame. Behold its pleasures and its wealth. If you will give your life to these, they shall be yours.
Wow.
So often that life, brings to us something that is sweet to the smell. You know what I mean? Beautiful to the eye. You know what I mean? Tasty. You know what I mean? I mean, just tasty as I don't know what. and the temptation that comes with that. And it could be anything.
Yep.
It could be anything. Some addiction you have, something you're able to not, stop doing that maybe isn't the most healthiest thing in the world. Could be a woman. I mean, it could be anything. If it's so sweet and you have no level of discipline to say, hey, I don't know.
Right.
Then yeah, it could be yours at a price, at a cost. What that cost is, most oftentimes we know what it is. When we experience it, we act like we didn't know it was going to happen. But we know what the cost is. I mean, unless you got some, a challenge in life. I mean, you know what I mean?
Come on,
intelligent. It don't take, rocket science to figure out if I, do this, then that might happen. So, but we act surprised, because we're disappointed in ourselves. We tried to fool ourselves and it didn't work. And we fall for it every time sometimes. I continue in verse 15. But Yahshua said, away from me all tempting thoughts. This is the wilderness. This is being in the wilderness. Remember, he was in the wilderness, which we already established. The wilderness is a state of mind that's connected to the lower self. Away from me all tempting thoughts. My heart is fixed. I spurn this carnal self with its vain ambition and its pride. I repeat, away from me all tempting thoughts. My heart is fixed. And I would say fixed on what? Fixed on righteousness. Fixed on nobility. fixed on accountability, fixed on it following exactly what the gospel says we're supposed to be doing. I spurn this carnal self with all its vain ambition and its pride. And that's probably one of the most difficult things I think that all of us, any of us, are going to have to do. It is to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm willing to spurn that lower self. I'm willing to fight those things about me that I know. I don't need nobody else to show up and be in my room or on my shoulder and say, hey, by the way, I know already. Am I willing to fight those things and say, no more, no more. We're not going this route no more. We're going to stop. We're going to figure something out. I continue verse 16. For 40 days, Jesus wrestled. Yahshua wrestled with his carnal self. His higher self prevailed. He then was hungry. But his friends found him and they ministered to him. Again, in this verse, when it speaks of hunger, it's not talking about, you know what I mean, I want chicken and waffles.
Come on, Noble.
Because it says when his friends found him, they ministered to him. It didn't say they took him to the, you know what I mean, to the spot and got him a nice plate, and they took him to the, they said they ministered to him.
Yeah.
They loved on him.
And Noble, can I add a little nugget on there? Because you said he was in the wilderness for 40 days and he fasted. It's just like the fasting Buddha in our Gautama Buddha science. When you see the Buddha, when you look at the fasting Buddha and he's not big and he's slim, it's the same thing that you're saying. He was in that seclusion for 40 days. You see the Buddha, the fasting Buddha, he's slim. He's into his higher self. He's meditating. So he's going to lose that weight. He's not getting skinny. He's fasting. When people say they fasting, that's what he was doing. That's the fast. That's going to his higher self. And so he was ministered to. That was the food that y'all getting, that you can get that food and energy. And you say, I don't need that. Why? Because I'm on this food, that energy. Yeah, we're going to have water for sustainability. But that's that seclusion you saying. That's that fasting. That's a semblance. That's a symbology of everything internal. Gratitude.
Islam.
Gratitude.
Verse 17. Then Yahshua, Jesus, left the wilderness. He left his lower self. And in the consciousness of the holy breath, he came into the camps of John and taught. At some point in time, you're going to have to leave your lower self behind. At some point in time. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like, what's that movie that my daughter liked to watch? Wonderland. Wonder Park. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, Wonder Park. It's a fun movie. I actually like to watch it. I might watch it. I might actually enjoy it more than she do. Keep it 100. So, Wonder Park. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you though. The moral of the story is this girl was, she stopped believing in herself, stopped trusting in herself. She had created this quote unquote make-believe world, but she ended up finding out the make-believe world was the real world. But she had stopped believing in herself at some point in time because she thought the make-believe world wasn't real, you know, until she experienced it. And once she overcome that fear of trusting herself, of knowing that whatever she creates, it can become a reality. It will become a reality. She was able to look back at the thing that quote unquote that she was fighting against. And it was a symbolic cloud, you know, that was, you know, taking everything from, you know, where she was. And anyway, you got to see the movie. You know, she goes, hey, you know, it's still there. After she quote unquote conquered the beast, right? She's like, it's still there.
Yep.
And they say in the movie, well, it never really ever goes away. You just gain control over it.
Noble, that's like homocy. That's what we were just talking about the other day. The control over it, the consciousness and the subconsciousness. That's what we were just talking about yesterday in Slycomacy, the introduction. That's why I say people don't know, they be having it in their hand, and all those books is the Gospels. That's why I said I can use the Gospels for every book, because the Gospel is gonna agree And the writings don't agree with the Gospels. If you agnostic like yourself,
Islam. So in closing, because that was the final verse in chapter 15. I just want to challenge each of you. Find that inner strength. Find that space. It's not going to be easy. You made a lot of decisions that led life to where you are right now. That's why you're going through it. So, just because you started showering every day, don't make up for all the days you wasn't showering. It just means you started showering. So you still got to keep going about being consistent about showering every day. So that eventually you create a new you that everybody sees. And that's it's time. It's time.
Islam, man, very well put together, Nobles. And that's so powerful, like I said, as we close. Gratitude for the teachings, Noble. When we say we're not spiritual men, how can we not be spiritual men? And everything go back to the spiritual word. We take this for edification. We're not here to argue over religion. That's not our mission, because we know what this is. We know what monotheism consists is. We know what outside religion consists is. And that's not what we're here to do. We're here to explain it all. And like my noble just said, it's time. It's time to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am worthy. It's time. It's time to stop looking at yourself as a victim. It's time to be, I'm a survivor. It's time to really, when they use the analogy, like Lamar said, it can be anything, relationships, this and that and the other, whatever thing that's stopping you. What we saying is, don't go under your means anymore. Man, I use the analogy like this, y'all, and let's keep it real. Us as men, we accept a lot. Like I said, we accept, and I'm using the analogy, no disrespect to women or men, but a woman can go to Walmart and get a sundress for $5, some little cheap shoes and everything, and be beautiful. But you come the same way, you look cheap. Oh man, he got that stuff from Walmart. Look at, he got that plain t-shirt on. But the same analogy, a girl can go to Rainbow and buy a sundress and some cheap shoes and look beautiful. So if that's the case, what Lamar and what I'm saying is, be beautiful. Have standards. And as I close, once again, affirmations, removing limiting beliefs. That's your psychic energy. Removing those negative thought protection. That's what Lamarck's saying, all scripture. What is your negative thought protection? How do you establish direction in your consciousness? Because you got subconsciousness and consciousness. Nothing working because you ain't saying nothing. Those are the affirmations, like Noble Lamarck was saying. What are you reading? What are you studying? What are you doing? It's not working. You looking at a person putting the work in and say, well, I want that. That's clandestine. Speak life. You got to know yourself. And so how are you going to program your mind for success and you're not a student? Only way to program your mind for success is being a student. That's order. And out of order comes what? Sequence. What is that? Law. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is how this works. Out of order comes sequence. And life is science. And that's a law of living. That's mind science. That's why we don't welcome negative thoughts. As I close, like letting a vampire in your house. You got to let that in. You got to let that bloodsucker in. So you have no discernment. Revelation 22:13. We know the law, but we break it. Gratitude for the teachings, nobles. Gratitude. And as a map and a guide, I always want to be in the presence of wisdom. I always want to be in the presence of wisdom. And as we grow and as we learn, we are going to be exactly who we are, accepting exactly who we are, not stripping ourselves down to be with man, to be with one man. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. No matter what we get through, no matter relationships we went through, that's building us for what we're going to be. Those are building blocks. So be the best you. Wear your turban with proudness. Wear your fez. Do all those things you want to study. Be peculiar. Be meek. Be you. Look how far you came. Why are we turning back on ourselves? We should never do that. We should be ourselves at all times. And that's why I love this cipher. And Lamarck, as being your brother and being the I'm proud to be your brother. And I see it. I see the glow. Look the growth, the oratory skills. Look at the speaker when I say we are ministers and we all have a gift. And this is a body. So I give you honor and I give you gratitude to that teaching. Islam.
Islam. But you.
And you look very, very well. The Mada say you look very Moorish. You look very Moorish. Very Moorish. And that's what we represent. And that's what I want us to continue to show people who we are and what we represent. We're the upper echelon of this science. This ain't nothing, no, we got to get special. This us. Man, we all got suits. I mean, we are the classic noble man. Who? All of us, because I'm the Moorish haberdasher. We all fly. All of us, not one, not two, not three, all of us. And we all walk as a unit. And that's what we show in the world, that men can come together and love on each other and do something real and show men that this is what we can do. Because nobody can infiltrate you. Anybody else that's infiltrating, you see them coming. The only people can hurt you is inside and people that look like you. And we protect ourselves as I protect you and y'all protect me. Like you said, something very, very, very that need to be brought out again. I'm your teacher. I'm your brother. I'm your sensei. I'm your shaman. That's what it's. I don't care about the rest of the world. You have a map and a guide. You have a light beacon. You have a lighthouse, and you sharing that lighthouse with the world. And if they don't want to accept that light, that's okay. But you got something. You connected to the lighthouse. You connected to the source. You ain't connected to no switch. See, a lot of people want that switch, Lamarck. See, this the power we can have when you ask a person, okay, the carnal man say, okay, man, you want the power? Yeah, I want the power. Okay, so what you want? Do you want the switch? You see, when I'm cutting the light on and off, you want, yeah, I want the switch. Okay, boom. Well, Lamarck is the power, the electricity that goes through the switch. Let me cut the power. You stuck with a doohickey. I'm with Lamarck. I can go anywhere and be electric and put me in anything and turn you on and off. I'm with Malik. What? I'm with Lamarck, the source, the electric source. You got the switch. You have nothing. So once again, man, gratitude, man, and great teachers.
Islam, Islam. Gratitude to each of you. I'll be able to pick up those books, those literature later on as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the process of being binded, so they'll be ready a little bit later.
Gratitude.
I just want to, we did a workout earlier on at 9:00 this morning. There's just opportunities. That's all I would say. There's opportunities for us, for those of you out there in the social media world, to join us, to be a part of this effort. Maybe you just want to work out, maybe you just want to come to, some adept training, maybe you don't want to do, all the things that we do every day. I get it, you got to find your space in life. You got to find, your rhythm, some people got to start with, basic stuff before they can, go into more advanced, type things. So however you find that space, I would say, just think about it. We're here. 7 days a week without more signs make once a week. It's one of Sheikh's biggest sayings that he said.
Islam. What you say, Lamar? 7 days without more science makes 1 week. Yes. I know Noble froze. But as we close, y'all, like Noble was saying, as we're updating our Temple and School YouTube page, we're going to have different things going on. Friday, as we perfecting our page, we got so much film, document, and we're going to be showing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Show you guys that anything to. No, my signal got messed up a little bit. So. No,
I'm sorry. You cut back on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The signal got messed up, but nah, I mean, again, we live real lives, y'all. We're not, I got a job. A lot of these nobles got jobs. We're not out here, living some, Batman life where we moonlighting and something during the day and something different at night. We don't. We just regular people.
Thank you.
I got a 5-year-old daughter. We live regular lives. But we're working, we're grinding every day. Trying to be better. And it's not something everybody wants to do, but it's absolutely something that's necessary. And we got businesses. We bought land. I mean, you can morrishaberdasher.com, mypdfbooks.com. You can check out Mod Sons, Allo Pro Designs. I mean, we're just regular people that are extraordinary, and not because we have some gifts that nobody else can have. It's just we're willing to try to cultivate ourselves, and that means something. And that matters. And so, if you're willing to come out here and try, why not? Why not come and hop on here Saturday or Sunday? Why not come listen in, every once in a while? Maybe once a month. Maybe, you ain't got a lot of time, So, hey, maybe once a month you can just log on and just learn something. Like what's it worth? We got time to watch these NBA playoffs. We definitely got time, to gain some knowledge, to build with somebody, in a way that's different than what you used to. So, like I said, we don't have no magic pixie dust that we're gonna sprinkle over your head and turn you into something. That's not what we do here. But we will grind with you. We will get up and work out with you. We'll be honest with you, and we'll be here to support you if you're willing to do that with us. So come join us every Saturday and Sunday. Be on the lookout for much, much more coming from the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. Again, we're streaming live on all of our platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We have a website, bbtsciencetemple.com. We have an Instagram, Burning Bush Tabernacle. Just check us out. I think it'd be worth a couple moments of your time. We're not trying to take you away from your life. We're just saying, hey, if you're wondering why people wear fezzes, if you're wondering, is there any honorability in this whole Moorish thing, I guarantee you, if you spend a couple minutes with us, you'll find out that there is. So, peace and love to you. Gratitude for y'all being here on this Saturday. Hopefully you can come check in with us next Saturday. I ain't teaching every Saturday, so don't worry. I can't do this all the time, but we try to share the love, and it'll be somebody else's turn, next time, and they'll hop on here. Like I said, we're not, we're just trying to share a little something about how our life has been impacted, how it's changed, and what that means to us. And so, maybe you find something, you take something from that, and if so, we appreciate that. So. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night, by day. Those holy prophet, Noble to Ali, Shalom Aleichem, Ayat Shaya, Hotep, Islam, peace, 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 peace.
Anybody can drop?
Anybody got the benediction handy? I can get it.
If not, I can get it as well. Aisha's got it.
I have it.
You got to come over here, Empress. You want me to read it? You gonna read it?
I'll read it.
All right. She can read it. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Isis, y'all?
Yeah.
Peace in Islam.
Yeah.
Okay. May the benediction of Allah be upon thee and thine, always as thou should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and doest thy best to shun thy evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all understanding, in all standing, that ye might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be thy shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. And knowest that knowest that thou needest not pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, I, the key to thy salvation, already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. El Rock.
Muhammad. Ashe. Peace. And at the Burning Bush Tabernacle Scientific School, when we say Yah, that means we are the truth protectors. That means we are here to tell you the truth. And when we say Yahoo, Yamin. My brother. In my no more Lonzo voice.
We have empresses here, as you see.
Yes.
So this isn't about just having, men here. We have empresses around. They're not just sitting on the sidelines or in the back or whatever the case may be. They're a big part of what we do.
Yeah.
So I would think you'll find out that they rocking sometimes as strong, if not stronger, than the men. So, this isn't, like I said, this isn't some fancy club. That's not what this is.
No boys club. Nope.
We want families. We want people who want to grow, who want to build, and just be accountable to each other. So that speaks to your heart. We'll be here. 7 days a week. Be on the lookout for more BBT programming. It's coming.
Islam.
So we love to have y'all.
Islam.
Peace.
Peace and love, family. Peace and love. Islam. Peace and love. Islam. That was nice.